brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hey, welcome everybody to this Sud segment where we'll stay almost 6 feet away from anything but a great beer. Hey, today we're actually going to have a bottle share. Let me introduce everybody here on our episode for today. Joining me here at the table is good old boy Dave.
Greetings, citizens. Marvel at the sight of my well-oiled, glistening masculinity.
Oh, please don't even begin to flex doing that.
Welcome to the gun show.
Wow. Yeah, I just saw a row of people in Kansas City go, please, just stop.
Stop it.
For sure. Joining me here at Radio Right is good old boy Kendall.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Kendall. I'm a model. My favorite part of my body is my broad shoulders.
There it is again. There we go. Yeah, maybe it isn't a pleasure to be here.
So we still refer you to he and him, correct?
I think so. Let me check.
Yeah, if you've never picked up, the only qualified person that's sitting here is Kendall.
Yes.
The rest of us are just faking it. So, yeah, we're all hoping for the big rubber stamp someday.
You're sitting in his shadow.
Rubber something.
Not worthy. Hey, I'm good old boy Mike. I forgot to introduce myself.
That's okay.
And at radio left here is good old boy Drew.
Hello, how are you all today?
Oh, I love that voice.
He's got a face for radio. Indeed. I've said it for years.
It's only $8.99 a minute. Go ahead. Give me your credit card.
Wow. Thankfully, the face is behind the mask. No one cared who I was until I put it on.
And debating whether she's going to bolt out of the chair, it's good old Gal JulieannaSUDS.
You know, I have a voice too.
Oh, yeah.
And some people like mine as well.
Tell me more.
Wow.
$2.99 a minute, babe.
So this episode degraded at what, Mark? 5 minutes and 20 seconds?
Oh, not that far.
Dude, it was 2 minutes and 48 seconds.
Just want to make sure I knew exactly.
Negative
Yes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Sips, Suds, and Smokes, where we talk about everything good in life that's worth discussing.
Allegedly.
And this is almost a 1 hour episode that is mildly entertaining for about 27 minutes. So,
27.
Hey, you know, I'm aspirational.
He's such an optimist.
Right. Like I mentioned earlier on today's episode for the Sud segment, it is a bottle share. So this is kind of the way we do it here. Is that everybody brings in something that's in a brown paper bag, and we don't reveal what's going on until everybody actually has tasted or commented on it. So that's what we're going to do. Each host has brought something, and we'll be tasting and sharing our tasting notes and doing a big reveal after each one.
That's what she said.
But before we get started with the bottle share, this Sud segment is brought to you by...
You're a grown-up, so now it's time to act and drink like one. You want whiskey, but without all that alcohol. In comes Whiskey AF, the alcohol-free whiskey experience, made from artisanal rainwater hand-collected by Aborigines, then barrel-aged to give the look of bourbon without the burn. Whiskey AF, it's not the real thing, it's better.
You know that's a real thing now, right?
I'm sure.
No, seriously.
Oh.
Like they are making alcohol-free whiskey.
Well, there you go.
That's sacrilege. It is, truly.
Next summer of questionable
That explains
decisions.
a whole section of Canada that I was just really wonder what's going on up there. You know, it's like, what do you do up there?
You know, when people say, do you know where your children are? You know, they're out drinking alcohol-free whiskey. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's apparently a thing. Well, bottle shares, like everything else, must and will adapt to the new rules after COVID-19. There may as many bottles of hand sanitizer sitting around. Who wrote this?
There may be
as many bottles of hand sanitizer sitting around as there are bottles of beer, but we'll get by. Today, each host has beer that they've been drinking lately or that they wanted to share with the rest of us. We're all wearing masks, and we're all about 6 feet away from each other. That's not far enough away from some people.
Wow.
We're still a bunch of friends, but we really
Are we?
but we're really sharing a few beers.
I thought the script says beats, Mike.
It does. It does.
Beats, bears, Battlestar
You know what?
Galactica.
Listen, I've had about as many beers or beats when I wrote this as you have when you're reading it.
I was looking forward to the beat share later.
I think he was doing some research with Bud Light Lime while he was typing.
I might have put
probably was.
I might have put 7 or 8 of those down before I wrote this.
You know, beets are a little earthy, but they're a good vegetable, right?
Yeah, and there's so many colors, you know.
I love to roast them and put them on a salad.
They taste
like
like
a rainbow.
sweet dirt.
Kendall, I will share beats with you any day.
Aww. Kumbaya to the both of
Do you
you.
like yellow ones or red ones?
Red ones.
You like the red ones.
I like the purple ones.
Purple.
I've never had a
Golden
yellow
ones are
beet.
really good too.
Golden
Are they
ones are really
really?
good. I like golden beets.
Are they as
Those are
sweet
pretty
as the
tasty.
other beets?
Not quite as sweet.
Maybe that would be better.
We'll have to do a show on
Butter
beets.
and salt.
Just not put Dave in charge
Do you
of
get
writing
the-
the script.
Well, you know what?
Well, it's a pretty rare occasion that we've asked good old Gal Juliana to read our SUDS ratings for today.
Ooh, this is a rare treat.
Okay, look. I'm just doing it in my own dialect. We're going to be discussing and rating these beers with these SUDS ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. And forever, I'm a Pennsylvania girl. Number 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a Bud.
Or a Keystone Light.
Okay. In its day, Keystone Light was
Would it be
fine.
a tall boy?
Would be a tall boy. Number 2. Was that a belch?
Or an East Pennsylvania accent.
There's a difference there, buddy. There's a difference. Number 3. Ah, what a relief.
We're not in PA.
You know what? You can just stay with the Tennessee girl, okay?
I think that's what you say every time you drive over to Jersey out of Pennsylvania. What a relief.
Wow. And he's talking about New Jersey.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, look.
I never
Good
thought Pennsylvania was that bad.
Is that the good part of Jersey?
Is there one?
I was
There
just saying,
is a
that
good-
exists.
There is a good part of Jersey.
Well,
It's
we
that-
hope so.
It's that like 6 feet where you see you're leaving New Jersey.
As you go into the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah.
Secaucus, right? Oh, excuse me, Secaucus.
Secaucus, New York.
Really? Really?
East Meadowlands.
Okay, come on, Julie. We need to keep going.
Number 4. A body should really not make that sound.
Be a miracle if anybody has one of those today.
You know, people just don't understand, okay? They just don't.
Your accent?
You Southerners just don't get it.
You Southerners.
Number 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another now.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
My aggressive Pennsylvania charm.
What Southerners? I'm from Michigan.
I was about to
Yeah.
say,
I would like to point out that this Pennsylvania girl used barbecue as a word to describe a gathering and not a food. So
oh, that's definitely going, you're going native now. Yeah, you know.
I know.
You know, should we just charge you income tax in Pennsylvania just to make you feel a little more at home? Is that what we should do?
Really?
Yeah.
please don't be mad,
And
Pennsylvania.
get rid of the clothing tax then?
After 15 years and marrying a local, holy crap. I mean, you know, I don't know how more native you can go.
Yeah.
Okay, look.
Yeah. You married
I
a
was-
local.
I was blindsided by the beer shirt. What can I say? And it was a crappy beer fest that.
I was extremely charming.
Well, thanks for reading our SUDS ratings for today and insulting some of the folks in the great state of Pennsylvania. So
And Jersey.
And Jersey.
Let's just
and that.
roll in the whole Northeast.
Hey,
Excuse you?
let's get around to our beer share. We're going to start off with good old boy Kendall. We managed to pour some of the beers, while we were kind of going through the intro. And
what's everybody think about it before he tells us?
So I was saying that Kendall is a session beer hound. He just loves session beers. I mean,
That's true.
He walks around with a 12-pack of Founders, all day long. Of
all day IPA,
all day IPA,
all day
IPA.
long.
I can't even say it. And the what's the lager? The golden, just the
golden lager.
The golden lager.
Is that,
Lager
is
of the
that what
Lake.
it's called? The golden lager. Yeah, that's what I thought it was called. It's, I knew it had a really simple name to it.
Solid gold.
That's
That's
what
it.
it's called. Solid gold. There
Solid
you go.
gold. There we go.
Thank you.
Ha ha.
It's good beer. I thought it was a session IPA. It was my best guess. I liked it. It was crushable. I
Yeah.
could drink
Good
a lot more of
bitterness.
this.
I'm digging it. Yeah, it's good. That's one of the reasons I love this beer. Solid bitterness.
It's not complicated. Great hop profile.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Very fresh.
I appreciate the pine in this. Thank you very
is
much,
pine.
Kendall, because I don't mean to be mean. I enjoy a good New England IPA when I can, but I'm just getting a little sick of New England IPAs
Sometimes
that are
you
just
gotta-
OJ.
Sometimes you got to go west, a little more
No,
west.
I like the pine trees in this. Thank
Yeah,
you very,
definitely
very
west.
much.
Yeah.
What-
Is it Sierra Nevada?
We'll rate this after the break.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a lot more about it, but this is definitely from some friends.
Are we getting close at all in our taste?
Yeah,
profile
you're
yet?
you're mostly close.
Mostly close.
We said pine, so
So this is a local beer. I don't know if that helps you narrow it down. It was
okay.
brewed and canned in Nashville, Tennessee. So, but definitely influenced by the West Coast styles.
Okay.
You were right, Mike. It is fresh. This beer was canned 3 days ago.
There you go.
Oh,
Doesn't get much fresher.
Yeah, I went and picked it up when I heard they were doing a new canning run.
it's a pastry stout. I knew it.
Hey, we'll be right back just after this break.
Explains so much.
Hey, welcome back to Sip Suds and Smokes. On today's episode, it is a bottle share that we're doing with a bunch of beers. And we were talking about the beer that Kendall has brought. And so far, we're like hazy and piney and fresh and
Sessionable.
Yeah. And he said it's a local beer.
It's a local beer. What do you guys think? You want to throw up some fingers here? Where are we at?
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I'm going to...
I'm outnumbered.
we're going to call it and say it is a SUDS rating of 4 in the big reveal.
So, well, let me tell you a little bit about this beer. One of the things Dave put out is like maybe bring a beer you've been drinking in the summer or in the COVID lockdowns. And this is a beer I've drank probably about 3 cases of since the middle of March.
damn.
They did a fresh canning run in March, and so I drank a lot of that fresh beer.
Kendall, what have you been doing in the quarantine? I'll tell you right after I finish this
And
beer.
there's a lot of breweries in Nashville, and I'm fans of all of them. I'm in 4 different mug clubs too. So this is one brewery. I'm in their mug club, and this is the one I tell people to check out. There's a lot of breweries in town that get a lot of love and a lot of press, but this is the one I go drink at more often than not. I love these people. They're great people, and they are from San Diego, which gives you a little hint into why this West Coast IPA is so good. They know how to make a good West Coast IPA, folks. This is the New Heights.
Way to go, Jeff.
Yeah, that is a good IPA.
Jeff is killing it out there.
But, Mike, you were wrong on the session. This is 6.9%.
Yeah.
You know what? You could session that beer. I mean, it wouldn't last
Well,
too long, but you
Yeah,
could.
but I love this on the bottom. Canned on, 624. It's 627. That beer is
that's
3 days
beautiful.
old.
That is beautiful.
And I've got more if you want some.
Well, this is a brewery that we have not covered on the show. Mainly just so New Heights it's in one of those categories of breweries. They don't distribute, outside of metropolitan Nashville, and great beers. And I've had a chance to brew with Jeff and some of the other staff there, and been on some of the blends that they've done there at New Heights. Have 3 barrels of beer that are sitting there. with some whiskey barrels that I've done some private picks of.
Nice.
I love Navel Gazer, and I am such a fan of that
They
barley
do
wine.
different,
I almost
interesting
brought
styles.
a navel gazer today.
One of the things I like about New Heights is everybody's got their own niche and is doing different things. They've got one of the broadest selections. They do some kettle sours. They do a great, just a great cream ale, and they did a dry hop cream ale this spring, which was unbelievable.
Their coffee cream ale.
Their Gobsmacked barley wine, the Navel Gazer
great.
Imperial Stout, all the barrel aged varieties.
Plum
They're just
sour.
that was so good. They did like a 3% Scotch ale back in the fall that I drank a ton of that.
That was a great beer.
They're
just a great brewery.
Their community series. I think that's them, right? Like they did the
They had a brown
community
ale.
brown.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think they did one or two more.
Goodest boy.
So the brown ale was actually a result of a homebrew competition they did with the local distributor with Best Brands, and I was actually a judge at that, and that brown was really awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good beer.
That's probably one of the top 3 browns I've ever had. It was that good.
But yeah, I love those guys. I mean, I love all the breweries in town, but somehow I always keep ending up there just because they're a great group of people and they're making good beers.
That'll bring you in.
Well, before we move along, just a quick reminder, that was the IPA from New Heights Brewing in Nashville, Tennessee, and our SUDS rating for that was a 4. Well, we're going to move on to the beer that I brought today, and we have poured it around.
Smells kind of funky.
Smells kind of funky.
Just like Mike.
Get some big barrel notes too.
Yeah. Good color on it.
Ooh, there's some honey on this?
Some kind of bourbon barrel aged wild ale.
That would be my guess as well. Yeah.
So you said
almost
barrel a couple of times now.
Almost a saison with out of a barrel or
saison in a barrel. Huh? Interesting.
I don't know.
Any other tasting notes? Do you like this? Do you hate it?
I do like it.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, you're right. Lots of honey, Julieanna.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sweet on the front end, not on the back end.
Someone get their hands
Dries
on a
out.
Bell Mead
It's a
honey
little
barrel.
astringent on the back end.
Well, yeah, it kind of dries out at the very end.
Yeah,
which just makes you want to take another sip.
Exactly.
This isn't Fleur de Lis, is it?
No.
Okay. Just asking.
Wow.
Dramatic pause.
Good guess though. I would say.
Well,
you know. But I like to Drew's point. I like the dry finish because it tastes good. You just want to keep cycling it back through. You know.
But you were right. You said astringent, but it's not like a bad astringency. It's almost like tannic from the oak or something.
Yeah,
like
a really nice like Sauvignon Blanc. You know, it's just dries the palate, makes you want to keep going back to it, keep going back to it.
It's a
keep
very
going back to
layered
it.
beer. I think it's fairly complex. There's a lot going on.
Some different, a little bit of fruit in there.
And
too.
different,
like apricot almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, different
Oh,
things.
yeah,
You know,
I get
kind of
that.
bringing different things to the party.
there's flowers.
Both technique and
Are there any
ingredients.
flowers in here?
Flair.
No.
Really? Because
Any Soylent
I
Green.
could see almost like a rose hips
Any
or
what?
like a
Yeah.
Soylent
hibiscus
Green.
or something.
Are there people in this beer?
Other people, no.
Okay. Well, that's
people have
Any
their
other
hand in this
guesses?
beer,
There
though.
are beer and there's beer in the people.
Yeah, that's true. Is there beer in this beer?
There's definitely beer in this beer for sure.
Well,
Any other guesses? Any other comments? Here, let's see what your rating's going to be for this. Wow. Our SUDS rating for
Well,
this
you know
is
what?
going to be a 5. How about that? Did not intend for that to happen at all.
Can we get a clue as to where this is from?
It is
What region?
from
America?
America.
the state of South Carolina.
Westbrook?
no.
it's
no.
not
Oh.
It is
No,
Westbrook.
Westbrook wouldn't
What?
do this, would they?
Carolina Barrel House?
So
Yeah.
there was a funny story that we had about this. So last
No,
night,
really?
so last night we
Westbrook.
Wow.
Holy mother of
Good on
Chalupa.
you, Westbrook.
I,
They did a good job with this.
So this is a Westbrook Belgian style triple.
I
That's
am
been aged
shocked, dude.
2 years in a sherry barrel. This was bottled in 2017. So we normally don't date a lot of our episodes, but it's been it's been about 3 years. Bottle condition on top of.
So the
2
sherry,
years.
is that where like those like little bit of fruit notes come from?
Yep.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I was.
And I was not too far off when I said Saison.
Oh,
so,
I didn't name the beer. It's called Jaune.
Jaune.
I think is how you spell it. Jaune.
Yeah.
So
that barrel, man.
I'm probably mispronouncing that horribly, but
well, I don't even know. It's like it's reminiscent of the French jeune, which would be young.
I know.
But,
yeah, I was close. Probably faking my way through it. So I ran across this beer. Never had it before. In fact, I'm tasting it all right along with you. And I was just so intrigued to have a beer that had been aged in a sherry barrel. I've had so many other things been finished in a sherry barrel.
You don't get that very often.
I've only had probably maybe 1 or 2 other beers that I can think of that were aged, and those were like really big.
Usually like a dark beer, probably.
I had a stout that was finished in a sherry barrel. I had a barley one that was finished in sherry. I like the barley one sherry. That was a pretty potent.
That'd probably be a nice.
Well, because they're both big flavors.
Yeah.
And the triple is just kind of throttling back. On a lot of the hop profile and acidic elements. And I, when I saw this, I was like, that is either going to be really good or really suck. And there so many of the other barrel aged beers that I've had at Westbrook have just been really quite interesting. We're a huge fan of a lot of beers at Westbrook.
Yeah,
absolutely make the reference standard Goza. For a U.S. based Goza for sure.
True.
And
Mexican.
Oh, they're Mexican cake.
God.
Yeah, Mexican cake is really good. A lot of people really go after these beers, and they've been expanding a lot of their distribution quite a bit. I've run into Westbrook now probably in, I don't know, I want to say about 15 different states. If I had to guess, some of their distribution footprints. So
they were doing some of the Evil Twin beers too.
Yes, for a while when Yepe was
he's still
Gypsy
floating
Brewing,
around, yeah,
and I believe it still do some Evil Twin beers probably, but I really just when I read this description, I just kind of fell in love with it. So I'm glad you guys really loved it.
That's a really good beer to bring, dude. I mean, that's a bottle share beer.
Yeah, it falls in that category. This is not something I've been drinking a lot of, but it's a beer that I've been dying to share, especially straight up in a blind like this. So it was really cool. I'm glad. I really enjoyed bringing it. I loved seeing all of your reaction around it, and it's really something quite unique that I know that we don't run across.
Yeah, those
kind of all the time.
The tannic notes from the oak, like at
those
the
are
very
really
end.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great beer. And I would tell any of the brewers that if you're considering maybe playing around with the sherry barrel, do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see that this worked really well with the Belgian triple. I would say that sherry is going to work well with barley wine
or quad
for sure, or Belgian quad,
yeah,
or Belgian strong. Period. I think would work really well in a sherry barrel. So I look forward to somebody else's spin on this.
I bet the stout you had that was in a sherry barrel was probably pretty good too.
It was distracting. That's the thing I remember about that.
Kind of conflicted.
Yeah, it really did. It was almost kind of like fighting with it.
It's interesting.
Speaking of fighting. So I had a topic I wanted to bring up today.
Let's talk about Philadelphia.
Yeah, you bet. So I had a it wasn't a fan. It was a fan that dropped me a note online, and they said, "Have you seen this?" And they dropped me this link to this group in Philly. It was actually a ruling that they were going to cut back on people that were having dumpster pool parties.
Oh my.
In Philly. And I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. What did I just read there? So I'm like, these people actually were creating pools, in, regular construction dumpsters, and they would order the dumpsters and they would, put them out on the street, and they have,
So it was a quote unquote clean dumpster.
Is there such a
thing? They're not really sanitizing them in between.
Well,
use.
but I mean, like, it wasn't like they pulled a bunch of trash bags out of it.
They would have had to line it somehow to keep the water in.
Yeah, they lined it, and then they filled it. Get this, they actually just used the fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that was the
Why
problem
pay for
that
water?
they had. Yeah, that was the big problem that the city had. It wasn't that they were having a pool party in the dumpster. It was that you were using city water. I'm like, wait, that was the problem that you had? I think.
Well, if they pay for the dumpster,
and it is Philadelphia after all. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, if they're not setting it on fire, I mean, that's a step forward.
So I kept thinking, is this what Philadelphia Eagles fans do when there's no football? They have to go this path. It's like, do they sit in there and go, fly, Eagles, fly? Da, 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 da. I mean, do they play that theme song?
I'm just waiting for someone to figure out how to make a dumpster hot tub.
Dumpster hot tub.
I'm imagining they're probably listening to Kid Rock.
Yeah. So this is how they get a jacuzzi going. Yeah, Billy. So what we want you to do is go in the corner, and we want you to start farting.
Yeah.
And when I tap your nose, stop farting. Okay. So
they're like, hey, I need 3 of you guys to put your blow torches right on the outside of the dumpster. Let's heat this water up.
So I asked our native Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I asked her, are these people from Jersey that are just coming over into Pennsylvania?
Okay, look. I'm a fan of Justin Myers. I'm a fan of what he did because he was thinking outside the box. Look, if you were social distancing...
Who's Justin Myers?
And they were definitely not social distancing in the dumpster.
I said there were at least 15,
I saw the
10
pictures,
or 15 people in the photo.
But you have nowhere to go, okay? There are a lot of row houses...
There's a lot of places to go other than a dumpster.
Apparently not.
What does it say if you're first? This is my place to go.
Here's what I will say as far as alternate pools go. Okay, so I went to college at Belmont University in Nashville. My second or third year, like maybe it was my first senior year. I don't know. I had a couple of those. I was living in my last year in the dorm. Came home one Saturday night, and a couple of guys and a girl had figured out a way, because we had the showers in a communal bathroom where it was a block wall, but there was an opening for the doorway, obviously. They had figured out, they put some plywood in front of the door, and then covered up the drains, and then they filled it up with water. And then so the pressure of the water pushed the wood back against the wall, so it
Belmont's
sealed
known
it.
for music majors, so obviously this was somebody they borrowed from Vandy, which is across the street. With all of this engineering
They
involved.
have an engineering school.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, we had some business majors. I mean, it's a
3
good practical idea. So there were 2 guys and a girl swimming around in the shower pool until somebody called. It's a Baptist college, so somebody eventually called security because there was a girl in the dorm in a swimsuit.
Yeah, that was the problem.
That's what
that was the problem.
It wasn't
not the water damage,
and you were probably drinking beer.
Yeah,
No.
It wasn't bootlegging the water or destroying the shower or anything.
Or the whole
They
building.
had a scantily clad young lady in the dorm.
You can't have mixed bathing.
Yeah.
Similar story. I went to high school where we actually did that, except it was a military boarding school, and I won't mention the name of it because say I don't want to take away from their storied
the
alumni.
Lords of Discipline.
But we would actually do it as an effort in order to clean our dormitory. So we would flood the showers by taking garbage cans and blocking the drains.
Yeah.
We skipped the plywood because there was about a foot tall block to keep the water in, and then you would just push it all through the hallways and then slip and slide down the asbestos tiles.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Very good.
Now I know why it feels like that when I walk through that building. Literally squishy. Wow. Well, listen, if you have an alternative pool story, we'd love to hear about it here at Sip Suds and Smokes. We might feature it on a follow-up to this story, but for now, I'm going to ask all you people in New Jersey, keep on swimming. So Let's move along.
And Philadelphia, too.
Yeah, keep on dumpster diving.
Justin Myers, I think you're ingenious.
You should just enjoy blaming the people of Jersey.
Hey, does that redefine what dumpster diving means?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you. I used to hit the button there, Dave. There you go. Thank you. Let's move on along to another beer here from Drew.
Wow.
Drew.
Yep.
Well,
Drew, what you got?
I did not, listen to. I have been drinking things like this summer.
Here, just pass it. Pass your bottle. There you go.
But it is not what you would call a summer beer. Mainly, as we have been quarantining, I have been taking the time to try and clean out my beer cellar.
Oh, this smells nice.
Which is why I brought my beer, because it cleaned out of my cellar.
And I also was running late, so I wasn't able to
Super
stop
malty.
and buy what I was intending.
There's no need to apologize for this.
This is nice.
So this was brewed and bottled in 2014. Any thoughts as to what the style is, anyone?
Belgian strong.
Barley wine.
I think good old Boy Kendall may be onto something there.
I didn't even look at the bottle.
I didn't look at the bottle either. I don't even know
It's
what
big.
this is.
I can tell you it's big and it's malty, so it's probably a barley wine.
It's got to be a barley wine.
It's Evil
in
Twins
the
Freudian
color.
Slip
Well, there
at
you go.
10.3 ABV.
Oh, that's a barley wine.
Woo!
Ooh, wow.
And again was bottled in 2014 and cellared for 6 years now.
I think you did a good job. Well, we'll rate it when we come back, but I mean, I will tell you that this beer is,
It's big.
Big beer.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But I like how time has worked with this, quite favorably. As with many barley wines.
Oh, they always
usually
get better.
They soften a little bit,
Absolutely.
because
And,
everything
yeah.
is big and boozy when you first brew it, and you got to soften it down.
Hey,
a
we'll
little
be
bit.
right back in just 1 minute. Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. On today's episode, it is a bottle share, and we're going through a few beers. So far, we just got the reveal for the beer that good old boy Drew brought, which is the Evil Twin Freudian Slip. It's a barley wine that he's had aged in his cellar since
2014.
14. All right. So
nice.
good 5-6 years, somewhere around there. Great beer. This is a great example of how time can be really kind to barley wines for sure.
And not just barley wines. I have taken a great pleasure in if it's above 10% ABV and I like it now, I'll usually buy a couple and put it back and try it 6 months, try
Might
it a
as
year,
well.
try it 2 years and just see what happens. It's a really enjoyable and an approachable way to enjoy beers that you love and see how they change.
So, I'm a big fan of Bigfoot. Buy a 6-pack every year and set some aside. It's just barley wines age really nice.
Cellaring is kind of a crapshoot because even if they're big, they don't always get better. But chances are they will change in a way that at least makes it interesting to think about.
Well, I like how this has brought the sweetness and the caramel, component forward in the taste profile. Usually barley wines are very abrasive, when they're fresh. I mean, they're just like almost drinking battery acid.
Well, especially American barley wines
Yeah.
because everybody wants to hop them more to make it, like everything bigger, and once a few years go by, that hop character kind of fades away. So you get back to the maltiness and it becomes actually kind of more of an English barley wine in a way because you get back to where that maltiness is the key component.
Julieanna, what'd you think?
I really liked it. There's a little hop presence still, but it's soft and very approachable. I mean, it got a lot of flavor, don't get me wrong, but really nice. And it's an interesting pick for it being the summer. You know what I mean? Like we think of light beers and maybe even fruity beers. And we've had 2 light beers so far.
Yeah.
It's really interesting and it's cool that you bring a barley wine to the table. But it's still like I could see drinking this in the summer.
It's a good share beer.
Yeah.
It's certainly not something I would want to sit and crush at 2 o'clock in the
no.
afternoon, sitting on the
no.
porch.
Really?
Depends on the day you've had.
True.
Well-
True. The state of the world, right?
But I mean, I wouldn't have 20 of them, but I can appreciate a really good barley wine. Thank you for bringing this.
Well, our SUDS rating here for the Evil Twin Freudian slip from 2014 is going to be a 4. Thanks for bringing that, Drew. Great beer, man.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yep. Both two really interesting cellar grabs, so far. Well, next up is go to Gal Julianna. She's passing her beer around.
I'm passing a can
Passing a
of
brown bag
something.
around.
Brown bag around.
Let's see, is this what region is this from?
Oh.
It's from your region, Kendall. This is from Kendall's birthplace.
I'm taking a little too much there. It's a small can.
No, it's
Oh, we've got extra.
It's
All right.
fine.
Probably should have had this before the barley one.
It's fine. We didn't know. We didn't
Very
know.
malty, a lot of
They
Pilsner.
pulled it out of the bag, so now we know what it is.
Yeah, very malt forward.
But I do enjoy this beer.
Gosh.
And it's new. I
could
mean,
drink
it's
it
a
all day.
pretty well, it's new to here anyways.
This is Bud Light Hazelnut.
Wow. You're a real jerk.
I know, really.
Yeah, it's a
Well, this is
really light, easy.
this
I
is
get
not
more
named that
amaretto
fruit.
than hazelnut. Thank you.
This is named that
Amaretto,
nut.
I like that, yeah.
It's it's a session beer, but it's got a little hop presence. I mean, it's a beer. You're not just drinking, something watery and beer
It's
like.
definitely in that lawnmower beer category.
Oh,
for
it's
this
sure.
is
such a one-mower beer.
this
This
is
is
the-
hanging 4 or 5
Yeah.
or more. I would be shocked.
This is the baby brother of an American classic. Is what it really is.
Yeah, it is.
Where it's going, but
It feels northern.
I'd say Third Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, look. This is only 3.7% ABV.
Wow,
Think about that.
that's amazing because it tastes like beer.
I know.
Yeah.
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 I know.
I
Like,
was going to say Florida Cracker.
no.
I mean,
I say
get
no.
but I get what you're going with that, Mike,
Sure.
because there is that component of it.
Yeah. Florida Cracker is a beer made by Cigar City. And that beer's a bit more astringent than this one.
That's a wit. This one is not.
Yeah.
this
no,
one's.
yeah,
Right.
This is
more
beer.
Pilsner
This
and-
is.
This is a session
This is a
IPA.
This is a Coors clone all day.
But even being a session IPA, it is at 3.7. That is sessionably.
That's like a sub-session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So here's the thing. But this is summer. It is hot. At my workplace, I'm on call a lot. So I can't really have a lot of beer when I'm on call. I mean, I can't have any beer when I'm on call, but I'm on call so much that I really don't get to have any beer.
Just
Does that make
carry
any
some
sense?
beers to work with her.
Yeah, right.
So
But this is awesome to me because for as low ABV as it is, it still gives you flavor. It gives you hope, if you will. And I mean, it's from Michigan. What more can you love?
Ooh,
You can't have-
Michigan beer.
you can't have
And
hope
Kendall,
without
do you
hop.
know what it is?
Well, they pulled it out of the bag, so I saw what it was.
Oh, I didn't see what
Oh,
it is.
there you go.
Bells, I love you.
The lighthearted ale.
I love you.
Here, let's
and
rate
it's the
this beer
lighthearted ale.
before we get too far down the pike. Looks like it is our rating. It is so Bell's lighthearted, and
I'm
our
giving it
SUDS
3.
rating is going to be a 3.
3.7%.
But I love
They
this.
did a
don't think
good
they-
job with it.
I don't
They
think
did.
they've been
Yeah.
making this very long, have
No.
they?
No, it just came out this
No, this year.
springtime.
I haven't seen it in our
Say, I
market.
haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
this year it's new.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm like all pro low ABV beers. I mean, if you look at me, I'm a big, bold girl in many ways. So ABV has nothing to do with the price of cheese. However, this packs a punch for as little ABV as it is. And it's approachable for so many people. It's widely available, and I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a very uncharacteristic beer, I think, for Bell's. Who, we've covered a lot of Bell's beers here on the show.
Yeah.
Definitely
Well,
huge,
and Two Hearted.
huge fans
you know,
of
It's a
Old
classic.
Yeah, I love the can art on this. It does harken back to the Two Hearted label.
It
and
does.
that is,
but it's got a little bit more vintagey feel, you know?
Yeah, the Lighthearted is a great name for it. They did a good job with this. Give it to Bell's. They took their time getting out a session IPA, but they did a good job with it.
And I think you have to admit, Two Hearted is one of the best IPAs.
It's one of my favorites.
It's iconic.
It's
like
iconic.
truly.
That is like the standard for Centennial hops.
People throw that word around a lot, but it truly applies.
If there's anybody that I'm taking them through BJCP, competition, and I'm like, you don't know what Centennial is, have that beer, that is exactly what Centennial should taste like, all day long. But, we love Oberon. And we have it quite regularly. It's really great. We have access to a lot of great, Bell's beers. So, thank you, Shay, who brought that beer to the market. Just a reminder, our SUDS rating there for the Bell's Lighthearted is going to be a 3. Next up is good old boy Dave's beer.
Yeah. Everybody try it.
Everybody.
Try it. Tell me what you think.
It's almost like a pink characteristic to the color. It's interesting.
It's a very interesting looking beer for sure. I don't know that
a little bit of bitterness, very dry,
like dirty dishwater kind of.
Dry is a good word for it.
Strawberry blonde.
Yeah,
it's a weird color, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
That weird dry finish. And it has kind of a touch of malt kind of in the middle of it. It feels like it's a head fake, like it's trying to be something that it's not.
Oh,
a head fake.
Yeah. I think, actually,
it's a sports term.
Dave has not been good at hiding these beers, so I saw the label.
Yeah.
I know what it is, and you're right. It is a head fake.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Kendall, don't give away everything with your broad shoulders.
Like it's a light version of something.
It's also a Michigan beer.
It
is.
Another Michigan beer.
Michigan beer.
Go Blue.
Yeah.
Wow, 2 Michigan beers.
Go green and white. What are you talking about?
Did you guys coordinate that?
No, Michigan keeps sending all their daggum beers down here. So what are we supposed to do?
Drew, what do you think?
That outside of Kendall's the only decent export, right? I'm enjoying this. I think I like it a little bit better than the last one. Mainly because there's a little more there.
It's
there,
bigger,
if
ABV.
you will.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I still find it to be crushable. I'm having difficulty putting my finger on.
It's
the
like
color's throwing me off.
Gluten-free version of something, I don't know. It tastes like it tastes like a beer that somebody made and they said I need to cut calories or add water to this or screw around with it in some way. That's kind of what this beer reminds me of. Is that it was a very iconic beer and somebody said I want to screw with it, something like that.
No, I love it. I think it's got a lot of flavor, but the finish is something that's it's throwing you off.
It's gonna definitely that dry finish is definitely tossing me off.
Well, there's a style of beers, Mike.
Well,
there's a style of beers that came out of the last year or so that some people love or some people like, and then some people
I hate Brut
who are
beers.
just
this is a Brut
who
beer.
are just too rigid to accept a new style of beer, just too set in their way.
See, and that's why I think I like this because I love this style. I think it's brilliant because I love a dry hoppy beer.
That's all I had to get. This is totally
This is not
beer.
as dry as most. If this is truly a brewed IPA, it's not nearly as dry as I would expect.
So where?
I don't know that it's a brewed IPA, but it's definitely.
What would you guys
beer.
rate this beer without knowing what it is? Yeah, so we'll go a SUDS rating of 3.
How's he call that for his own beer? How did that work out?
Well, because there were more 3s than your one finger that you put up. So this is B43 from Old Nation.
Old Nation.
Out of, I think, Williamston, Michigan.
No, this is the Brut version of B43.
So this is the Brut version of M43.
M43. I'm sorry,
so M43 is one of my favorite IPAs.
Great beer.
It's a good
I love
beer.
M43. And I've had quite a bit of it. And it's making the rounds. It's finally, they're distributing they were having some of the surrounding states, so you could find it in Pennsylvania. You could find it.
So the first time I had it,
Chicago, I think,
was in Pennsylvania a couple years ago when we went up to visit Julieanna's family, and we got some M43, and it was like, dude, this is one of the best IPAs I've ever had. So then,
great hop profile.
Wandered into a Nashville beer shop a couple weeks ago, and now we're getting not only M43 but also B43, which is the Brut version of M43.
So I think they kept the same hop profile that they had with the M43.
It tastes very similar.
I think they kept everything,
and
except
I think
the
they
yeast.
swapped the yeast out with a Brut based yeast.
And I think they probably fermented it
Champagne
a little
yeast.
different, maybe a little bit higher temp or something, you know.
I don't like this.
I would not. I'm looking at the can. It's 7% ABV.
It's like
It
half
does
of
not
what
drink like
M43 used to be.
3 grams of carbs for those of you that are watching your carbohydrate intake.
I watch my figure all day long. It's because it's in
If you're if you're a Brut IPA purist, which I don't even know if there's been time enough for that to become a thing, it's not as dry.
No.
As and it's not as champagne-y as you guys have said.
Right.
That's true.
However, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because those dry champagne-y Brut IPAs, they're kind of on the extreme end.
Well, it's funny because I think probably one of the better Brut IPAs is actually the one made by Jeff at New Heights.
Yes, that is
He does a good one.
I think that is actually
I think that one's really good. I think
thought that one was very good.
I think Brut Willis from Sean at East
Sean
was
Nashville.
good as well.
I thought Sean did a great job.
In
with
fact,
the wine.
it was second place in our Brut IPA show that we did. But they're not the driest of all Brut IPAs.
Yeah. Not a fan of this. I can't imagine me drinking, this of, saying I love that. I want a full glass of that, but I just don't see myself, saying you should try this, to somebody.
I would say you should try this because I've killed several cans of this summer already.
See,
I like this beer.
there.
I tend to look at Brut IPAs similar to like I look at champagne. And, I evaluate it by, am I going to like this with some nice, a nice platter of raw oysters?
I remember the Brut show.
Mike was not happy.
I was
during
not
the whole
happy
show.
about the whole show.
Give me a dozen raw oysters and give me a Brut champagne or a Brut IPA. This doesn't quite match up to that for me.
Yeah. Well, just a quick reminder of our rating here for B43 from
Old Nation.
Old Nation is a 3.
3.
Thanks for bringing that, Dave. Wow,
Hey.
what a great flight of beers, everybody. Great bottle share, Hey, if you enjoyed listening to our bottle share here, grab some friends, This is a really great, fun thing to do. You don't have to have a crowd of, 40, 50 people to have a great bottle share. It just maybe takes, just 5 or 6 good friends.
Just
and
stay
some
far away from each other.
imagination and just tell them in
Far
advance,
away.
do not bring any Brut beer.
Wow. Or Mike.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on this episode today. I hope you had a really great time. Hey, you can always find us exactly wherever you found us right today, as well as plenty of other places like radio, satellite, online at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Overcast is my site of the week here, and nearly any place that you can listen to a podcast. The easiest way to find a show is tap your wife and say, honey, I don't know how to get this podcast thing.
That's what I do.
Any of the chicks on your phone, Alexa, Siri, or Google, play podcast, Sip, Suds, and Smokes.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram every day at Sip Suds Smoke, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news.
Please take the time to rate this episode if you're listening online.
5 stars.
Well, I want to thank several of our co-hosts for being here, except for Dave. Kendall, I love your blog. I am wondering what you're going to say about this Brut IPA.
I really should do a Brut IPA post because I love it. I think it's a brilliant idea because I love dry hoppy beers like Pilsners.
What's your blog?
My beautiful wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermakes3.com.
Thanks for being here. Good old boy Drew, thanks for joining us.
I can't say that I didn't enjoy it.
You freely chose to enjoy that Brut.
I did.
Good old gal Juliana. You sleep with the master who brought that beer. Yeah. Good luck with that one. There's a whole free can in front of us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. And Pennsylvania rocks, especially the east side.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying the difference between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Good old boy Dave, thanks for being here.
I love you so much, Mike.
And I love you too, Dave. Hey, it's good old boy Mike. Come back, join us for another exciting episode of Sip Suds and Smokes, and I will ask you to keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip Suds and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.